Keystone XL pipeline has dealt with a number of obstacles: protesters, regulations, people who don't want the construction of the pipeline to continue. As you can remember, toward the end of the Obama administration, the TransCanada, which is the company, the corporation behind Keystone XL pipeline, did everything it could to get Obama to approve the permits for further construction. Obama said no. Trump comes in, he says yes, you can continue with construction, and now it turns out, due to simple economics, it might not even happen. They might not even build the rest of the pipeline. Let me give you the details on this. Now, the executive vice president for TransCanada had a call with investors, and he's like, yo, dogs, like, I don't know what to do. Like, it turns out that the price of oil is pretty low, producing the oil is pretty high. Maybe it doesn't make sense to go through with this project after all. So low oil prices and the high cost of extracting Canadian crude from oil sands are casting new doubts on Keystone XL as executives with the Canadian company that wants to build it face the final regulatory hurdle next week in Nebraska. So keep in mind that Nebraska is the only state that hasn't approved it just yet, and that's because there are farmers in the state that are concerned about their crops. The pipeline would essentially go through their property, and it could be damaging, for their business, for their agriculture. And so TransCanada, a TransCanada executive raised eyebrows in the energy industry last week when he suggested the pipeline developer doesn't know whether it will move forward with the project. So Paul Miller, an executive vice president who is overseeing the project, told an investor call that company officials won't decide until late November or early December whether to start construction. So just to give you an idea of how much things have changed since they began construction, crude oil was trading at around $49.50 a barrel of Wednesday this week, and that's down from the highs of more than $100 in 2014. So again, oil prices have dipped considerably, and they're like, we don't know about this anymore.
You like free markets? How do you like them free markets? So this is very important for a number of reasons. First, on this immediate issue. So the crude oil that comes from Canada is the most expensive kind of oil to extract. So they began these projects when oil prices were really high. And when oil prices are really high, then it's worth going through that expense to extract it. Now, it's also some of the dirtiest fossil fuel there is on the planet, and there's more carbon that goes in the air because of this this type of oil that's in Canada. It's not the only place that it's in, but Canada has a huge reservoir of it. And so if oil prices are high, then you're gonna have a huge economic incentive to, let's just make up numbers here just to keep it simple. So if it costs you 50 bucks to get the oil out of the ground, but the oil is trading at 100 bucks, well, even with the transportation and distribution and all that stuff, you're still gonna have a healthy profit margin. But if now all of a sudden the prices are $50, well, that's the price to extract it. It doesn't make sense to make it anymore. To go forward with the project. Now, one of the reasons oil prices are going down is because there's lots of other sources of energy now, which didn't exist when we had incredibly high oil prices earlier on. So some of which existed, but were at a much lower level. Some are growing exponentially now. Keeping it real, it's not just renewable energy. Fracking is killing oil, and so fracking is a really interesting topic, and it's got big upsides but potentially much bigger downsides. Okay, but one of the upsides is that at least it's not. It brings down the price because there's more supply. So for real economists, you understand what supply and demand is, unlike Rick Perry, who's like, supply and demand. You see the way that it works is that if you have more supply, you'll have more demand. No, that's not how it works at all. Okay, so anyway, now this is also great news for the future on a bigger scale, because fracking has a lot of downsides, but renewable energy does not have very many downsides, and it is also growing exponentially. And when it does, it becomes cheaper to make because you have advantages in technology that you can take advantage of. You have economies of scale that you can take advantage of. And so the bigger renewable energy gets, the lower its cost is, and then it competes with oil. And there is a certain point at which extracting crude oil no longer makes any economic sense. And
see, like this is look, this is how a free market is supposed to work, right? Where you have competition from competing industries, a competing source of energy, and you don't have the oil industry or the coal industry or anything, any industry having a monopoly on the way energy is produced in the United States, because that's what essentially has been happening for a very long period of time. You have lobbyists working for big oil, working with politicians, funding politicians in order to prevent any type of investment or funding toward renewable energies or other forms of energy. And so we've had crony capitalism in this regard for a very long time. And it's nice to see that even though we still have crony capitalism, there are forces that are fighting against it. And hopefully we can defeat some of the dirtier forms of energy that we're producing.
And if you guys then say, well, okay, look then guys, why don't you just let the free market decide, do the coal, do all this stuff, and then maybe your renewable energy will win out in the end. Well, so it is winning out right now, but there are also costs you're not taking into account. So when they take the fossil fuels out of the ground and then they don't pay the cost of the carbon that goes into the sky. And the carbon in the air is a cost that's bared by all of us. And so why do you get to privatize the gains and socialize the losses? So that's not free market either. So it's perfectly rational to say this in terms of the carbon cost of this crude oil is not worth it to Canada, the citizens of Canada, or America, or the world, and we're not gonna do that. And then we would have said it's okay because renewable energy is gonna come up anyway. And when it turns out we were right. You didn't have to do this kind of fossil fuel, and all it did was hurt the planet, and they never properly paid for its costs.
Exactly.
Help us build independent media. Become a member of the Young Turks. TYTnetwork.com/join.